Just wanted to start by a really simple research test that I've recently become aware of, and it's probably a really simple way to just show how the mind is powerful and possibly more important than that physical side. It's just out of a book I've been reading called Iron War, which is the story of the Dave Scott, Mark Allen battle in the Hawaiian Ironman. As we know, the really big long endurance triathlon and marathons and that, the longer they get, the more sort of a mental side of it there is. It goes to, in the book, an explanation from a research guy who looks into that mental versus physical side, and what he does is he gets a team of rugby players and puts them on a stationary bike, and what he's doing is going to test their limits and figure out if there's a relation to the mind and the muscle fatigue. So how he sets out in the first, he sets a first test where he gets them to sit on the bike and they do an effort in a certain gear for 5 seconds all out. And what they're able to do is belt out of an average about 1275 watts of energy. They then have a rest, and he goes and gets them on to the second stage where they're set to hold an average of 242 watts of output, and they're then set to hold that wattage for as long as they can without, before they fatigue and their muscles physically can't turn that over. So what the result of that is ends up that the average of the rugby players, that they can hold that level of effort for about 12 minutes, and then they start to fatigue and they drop below that level and they stop the test. What happens then, and this is the really interesting thing, is that he then puts them straight back onto that 5 second test on the bike with no rest. So assuming that they've not been able to hold the 242 watts anymore, their muscles physically can't push out more than 242, what that says is when they jump back on the bike again, is that they should not be able to do any more than 242 watts in that 5 seconds as a level of output. What happens? They magically pump out 731 watts in that 5 seconds. So that just shows that immediately that there's even though the muscles were fatigued and whatnot in this 12-minute effort, but it was actually their mind that gave up.